This video is about coping versus thriving. Now, when first thing off bat, I think of coping, I think of scarcity. When I think of thriving, I think of abundance. And the reason why I say that is coping is a temporary solution to an issue. It doesn't go to the root cause or give any permanent solutions. So, in that case, the view of how things are is most likely from a place of scarcity. Oh wow, I can't fix this. So how am I going to make it through to the next thing? And then you get put in scarcity. There's not enough resources. I am not enough. How am I going to find a way to get by? So there's that scarcity that comes with coping. You know, you're like, wow, I gotta do something. What am I going to do? Well, I'm at a loss for what to do because there's not the solution. I don't see it. So you're viewing the world in scarcity. And that reinforces that frame of coping. Like, all right, well, if there's not really anything I can do, what can I do to get by, to kind of like put a little bit of something into it to fix it, but not really invest and get it solved. And then as opposed to on the opposite side, you have thriving, where, you know, you're looking at things through abundance. Wow, you know, I'm thriving, I find answers, I find solutions, I'm capable, I am enough, I am in abundance. Whereas before, there was that scarcity with that coping. In thriving, it's the complete opposite. You have such a unfiltered view. You can actually see all the resources that you have at your disposal. You can see the ease and lightness in how you can go about things, as opposed to, you know, getting stifled. And with ease and lightness, the opposite side with coping is that there's resistance, because you're reinforcing that view of scarcity, reinforcing that view of coping. You know, there's resistance. You're like, there's no ease to what I'm going about doing. Instead, I'm being restricted by whatever external or internal circumstances keeping you from being able to see the abundance, to see that you can thrive, and that there is the ease and lightness about how you can navigate. So coping, scarcity, resistance; thriving, abundance, ease and lightness. And I always opt never cope. You want to get out of coping as quickly as possible, because it's toxic to sit and loop on those say three things that I mentioned: the coping, the resistance, and the scarcity. In no way do any of those provide any real permanent solution, lasting change. Whereas opposed on the other side, you have thriving, you have that abundance, you have that ease and lightness. On that side, there's no limit to what you can do, what you can experience. You're not holding yourself back. In coping, you don't think that you are enough. You're looking and grasping at anything you can possibly get to try to fulfill that sense. And on thriving, on the other hand, you know, you have that belief that you are enough. You know, you are enough. Anything else is extra to add on to that. And say, if we go back to the trying to resolve something, you know, there's the coping, which is like, oh, all right, how am I going to make it through? The thriving is, all right, well, I'm enough. I need to solve this. How can I go about doing this? What's the root cause? I already know that this will pass. I'll make it through because I'm me. I can thrive. There's abundance. So coping automatically sets you up for future issues. Whereas if you take the perspective of thriving, you know, you're getting to the root cause. You're resolving things, and you're taking action that'll have lasting effects. So if we go a little bit more into coping and how you view the world, and thriving and how you view the world, a lot of times I see that people who are feeling like they are overwhelmed by external or internal stimulus fall into coping. You know, and going to that root cause is, do you really feel that you are enough? Where's your core confidence built up to the point that you feel like you have to cope through life? You know, is the external stimulus or internal stimulus really that overwhelming? And if it is, then you need to dive deeper. Instead of coping to get through this consistent issue that you're running into, you need to switch to a more grounded core confidence in thriving, so that you can, not be stifled by the stimulus, realize that you are enough, and then move forward to resolve things. If you're stuck at the two, and you're like, oh, I'm coping, wow, life is hard, this is hard, that's hard, poor me, then you're sending yourself into thought loops that will reinforce that. Oh, I have a problem today. All right, well, the problem hasn't been resolved. Problem-oriented thoughts. Oh, I haven't gotten up the solution. I'm a failure. No solution-oriented thoughts. I'm a failure. Oh, well, I tried to fix it last time and it came back. Oh, well, now I'm reinforcing I'm even more of a failure. And that dwelling is toxic. And at this point, you're poison dripping yourself. Now, there may be external things like social conditioning, which portrayed the image or portrayed the belief systems or identity that you've built up to resonate with coping. But all in all, it just reinforces more negativity, more stagnation. Whereas opposed, if you go into thriving a bit more and you're like, all right, well, I'm enough, okay. Core confidence, I'm confident. The same issue, but you're coming from a grounded place where you're not in that scarcity. You're in that abundance. Oh, wow. So when you go to tackle that issue, you're coming from a perspective of, okay, wow, I can see without all that judgment, all those thought loops, all that projection. That social conditioning comes in, but you can recognize it. Your default state is from thriving, from abundance. You've invested in yourself, shown yourself that self-love, and you know how you're supposed to feel. Your default is supposed to be that you're enjoying yourself. Your default is supposed to be that you're happy. So when that social conditioning or internal stimulus, external stimulus comes at you and you're going to get thrown into a reaction that would then spiral you into coping, you're like, oh, well, I don't usually feel like this. My usual state is abundance, it's thriving. So why am I having skewed perspectives of things that are throwing me into these thought loops of doubt and judgment? And because you have that self-awareness, you choose to thrive regardless of the situation because you are enough, you're grounded in that core confidence. Then you're like, okay, I recognize the social conditioning came at me, that internal, external stimulus came at me. Instead of falling into reaction and going into coping, I'm going to choose to be in a state of thriving and abundance. And then it's where it really starts to get fun. Because then you remember, this is your life's movie, your life's adventure. So when you then move forward, it's with ease and lightness. Although the obstacle still may be there, it's not greater than you. It does not define you. It's just there. But because you're thriving, you're like, all right, well, there's abundance. I'll make it through this. I have core confidence. And then you're setting yourself up for more winning. You've shut off all those negative thought loops that you would have been harboring before if you were coping. And you really define yourself without projecting your value based off of the circumstance, the issues that are going on. And even if you're not able to come up with a solution, you're going to the root cause and more objectively observing what's happening. You're not skewed filters like, misperception, judgment. You're like, all right, cool. Clarity. No filters. Abundance. Thriving. Am I solving it? I'm taking an L right here. I'm not solving the problem, but I'm still thriving. I'm not going to let the external delegate what my current state is. And that takes me to another great point of state. What's your default? I mentioned core confidence. I mentioned you are enough. But are you someone who needs to look at yourself and invest more in your core confidence? Really embody that belief that you are enough. Because if you're not coming from a grounded place, you'll get thrown into coping so easily. So easily. So easily. Look at that. You're not confident. You're not grounded. You don't think you're enough. When something comes at you, you're already you're like, this is me with no grounding and core confidence. Something happens, oh no! Whereas on the other hand, if you really invest in that core confidence, invest that you are enough, get grounded in that, you're like, all right, I'm now grounded. Something comes at me. Oh, it got stopped. Whoa. And you're actually setting yourself up with the right tools to then move forward with success. So dive a little bit deeper into that. Core confidence. Are you confident in yourself? We mentioned thought loops with coping. Does an external situation or internal situation that you meet with resistance because you're falling into reaction change your core confidence? If the answer is yes, you need to invest more in your core confidence. If the answer is no, it sounds like you're setting yourself up for thriving so that you're not falling into coping. But if you are falling into judgment and doubt and you're not confident, what is the root cause of that? Don't cope in looking at your core confidence. Go into thriving to look at your core confidence. Don't cope when it comes to looking at your self-worth and whether you think that you're enough. Go into thriving when you look at that. If you ever find any issues with these foundations that you have, don't come at it from a place of, oh, well, I haven't fixed it yet, so I'm incomplete. There's something wrong with me. I'm not able to feel my default state as happy and enjoying myself all the time. There's stuff that bothers me. There's stuff that keeps me from getting the fullness out of my life's experience. Don't fall into those reinforcing thought loops. In order to think that you need to solve something, you're assuming that you're lacking to begin with. Whereas you need to flip those two. You need to think that you're not lacking. And then if you see an area where you're questioning, you're not coming from a place of, oh, I'm not enough. You should come from a place of that you are enough. You should come from a place of that you're confident. And not to say fake it till you make it, but realize that you are enough. Wow. Whoa. Just use your imagination to think, oh, wow, well, you are enough. Whoa, I'm enough. There's a reality. If you look up at the sky, through the clouds, through the trees, through the ozone, into space, into interstellar space, intergalactic space, deep into the cosmos as far as you can possibly see, there's so much out there that for you to be stuck in your head, dwelling in thoughts of, I'm not enough. Sometimes I feel like I'm enough. Well, I'm not enough. Sometimes I feel like I'm enough. Well, I'm not enough. And you're just stuck in this limbo. I guess I take for granted that I have invested in myself to know that I am enough, to have core confidence. Are you going to choose to settle for a life of less where you're not confident and you're not viewing yourself as enough? Or are you going to be like, wow, well, other people in the past have become confident. They know that they're enough. So I know it's possible. I've seen evidence that it's possible. I know people have done it. I've seen people have done it. I've kind of experienced it a little bit. You have all this proof showing that it's possible, but you're going off of the assumption, based off of your thoughts and your perspective of the world, that, oh, I'm only enough sometimes. I'm only confident in certain situations. Just assuming there's something wrong with you when other people have figured it out. Other people have left that coping behind, where they're consistently living in a world where they don't think they're enough and they're not confident, and they've moved on to thriving. You want to come from a place of, I am confident, I am enough. So instead of coping, what if I were to thrive? All right, pretend time, we're going to go into the imagination. This is you, coping, scarcity, I'm not enough, I'm not confident. And then we're going to switch over here. So how do we make that shift to be complete, feel like you are enough, have that core confidence? It's you, same you, exact same you. There's only one you, and that's the you that exists now. But you're traveling through space-time, everything is changing and evolving. So in our world of the imagination, let's just assume that, oh, well, I am enough. I am confident. Those are my new defaults. I'm gonna now look at myself and assume that I am enough, assume that I am confident, And I'm going to address my disbelief that I'm enough and disbelief that I'm not confident. Not coming from a place of, oh, well, I'm not confident, I'm not enough. How do I fix not being confident and enough? I'm confident, I'm enough. Let me address that issue of me doubting, questioning. And then, with your new assumption, giving yourself that permission to come out of that old you that you've been resonating with and come into that new you that you want to be. You're the, you get it? You're the only thing that's holding you back. You're choosing to lose. Just so you know. Okay. I just had to throw it out there. So choose to win. That's same you, the only you that's here now. So be confident. Be entitled. You are enough. Now, when you question yourself and fall into doubt, whoa there's a computer error going on. Something does not compute. I told myself I was confident and enough. What is the issue that's making me think that I'm not confident? Then you're coming from a place of, whoa, I'm not coping anymore. I'm thriving. I can see what the external or internal thing was that threw me off. Because I know what my default's supposed to be. Now I can recognize it. I can get a reference experience of investing into that core confidence, investing into that belief that I am enough. Because I'm entitled to it. No doubt, no judgment, no question, no second guessing. So when I see this coming at me, firewall, 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 your defenses start to get stronger through these reference experiences. Now, instead of coping, you start to thrive. You start to able to root yourself, be grounded. So that way, when you're now dealing with, could be the same exact thing that you were struggling with in the past, you're coming from a place of, I can now recognize this stimulus has triggered something in me to throw me into reaction. I don't want that because I know I'm enough. I know that I should be confident. So instead of falling into reaction and coping, I'm going to choose to take that belief that I'm enough and I'm confident and move forward thriving. I've recognized the stimulus that I was triggered by, so I'm not falling back into those old ways. I'm now the new grounded, confident, I'm enough version of me. So now I see that stimulus, I'm like, all right, not gonna catch me like in a firewall. Boom, I already knew you were coming. That reference experience that you've been stacking and stacking and stacking, all those small wins to recondition yourself to realize that you are enough and you're confident, has now set yourself up for success, to thrive instead of falling back into coping. Which is amazing. You did it. Whoa, you did it. Whoa. Now we can leave the world of imagination and realize, wow, it's that easy to shift from coping into thriving. Instead of trying to make it by, doubting and questioning, going to thriving. Wow, I'm enough. I'm confident. I am me. Whatever I'm dealing with is external. I am me passing through this external thing. Whether you get the outcome you desire, or whether you do not get the outcome you desire. Being able to detach yourself and really be confident and be grounded, knowing that you are enough, is a fundamental place that you have to start coming from in order to address a lot of these issues. Now say, big, huge problem. You're like, how do I get through it? I'm coping. That's the only thing I can do. I can't solve the problem. I'm like trying to make strides forward, but I'm getting set back. I'm making more strides forward, but then I'm getting set back. How do I make it through this? There's no other thing to do than cope because it's all I can do. Well, no, it's not. You can choose to thrive. You're falling back into that judgment, that doubt, those thought loops. But the actual problem hasn't been solved. Well, I think you're mistaken. Coping versus thriving isn't solving the problem. It's how you experience your journey as you try to solve the problem. It's your perspective. How are you looking at things? Do you look through goggles? I am a coper. I do coping. This is how I live. This is how I see things. Oh. Or are you someone who views the world through thriving? Wow, there's abundance. Whoa, there's such an ease and lightness. There's no filter because I'm thriving. Wow, this is astounding. This is amazing. What more could I want? What more could I desire? I have an unfiltered perspective. So, when that same issue comes, oh, well, I'm making strides forward, but I'm getting thrown back. I'm making strides forward, but I'm getting thrown back. Instead of putting your own self-worth in your progression of the process, falling into coping, you'll switch to thriving. Wow, I made one stride forward. Whoa, that was amazing. I'll make it a little bit further on the next try, but I won't judge myself for making it this far and not reaching the end. Because I'm lit. I'm lit like that. I thrive. Oh, I made one little step forward. Oh, I got sent all the way back to the beginning. I got to start all over. Well, I'm thriving. I'm me, confident, grounded. I'll make it through this. Oh, got thrown back again. This time, I'm stacked with more problems and more issues. Well, I know I'm enough. I know I'm confident. I could fall into reaction and judge myself and fall into thought loops, or I could keep looking at things through abundance. I can thrive. All right? Oh, I only made it this far. I'm never going to make it any farther past that because I missed the window. I'm a failure now. Well, I could think I'm a failure, but I'm thriving. So instead, I'm a winner. I'm winning. I tried my best, did what I could. Things didn't work out. On to the next thing. Such a vast difference when you really take those goggles of coping off and put on the non-filter, no filter of thriving. And you really just shift into that abundance and live with that ease and lightness, just going about things with the utmost enjoyment, getting that fullness out of the experience instead of stifling it, restricting what parameters you feel like you have to operate within because of coping. Instead, you're expansive, you're thriving. Now, coping versus thriving, we've looked at from the internal, but let's look at other people. Are you surrounding yourself with people who reinforce that coping is the way to go? Are they projecting, oh, no, it's okay, so much horrible things have happened to you, you're the victim, feel bad for yourself? Or are you around people who are like, yo, you're resilient, you can make it through this, you got this, some stuff happened that wasn't right, but, it's not you, that's life. Don't judge yourself. What's your environment reinforcing in your view of whether you cope through problems or whether you thrive through problems? Are you surrounding yourself with good, positive influences of people who add positivity to you, who build up your core confidence? Not just a bunch of yes women who are like, yes, queen, you got this. Oh, no, they don't want you to succeed. They set you up, da-da-da-da, this, that, the third, poor you. Or are they like, hey, we're about to get it. We're crushing it. World domination out here. No, ain't nobody holding us back. We don't cope. We thrive. Obstacles come our way and we dismiss them with finesse because we're going to be better than that. We're not going to get caught up in the losses. We're going to focus on the wins. The fact that you even made it this far and tried this much. You're winning. Never need to cope again because you're already setting yourself up with people who are going to reinforce thriving. We got this. We're together, a unit. Squad goals on 100,000. Queens unshakable. Going back to that core confidence and that grounding in that you are enough is, well, are the people who you spend time with going to poison drip you by, throwing you into coping? Not that they would intentionally do it, but maybe they have habits, negative habits, where they're like, oh, well, the system, oh, well, they, oh, well, it wasn't up to me. It was all the external. Or they, reinforcing, yo, hey, stuff happens, but I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I'm me, conquering, shifting your perspective. It's your life's movie, your life's adventure. But the people who you surround yourself with, are they living their life's movie and their life's adventure? Or are they living in a reality where they're looking through life with a filter of, oh, I have to cope because things are out of my control. And then rubbing that off onto you, just out of proximity, out of engagement, out of their comments, their attitude. Does that trickle into you as well, and then demean you and crush you and water down your values? Are they chipping away, planting little seeds of doubt and judgment, not because they're doing it into you, but oh wow, well this is the my friend. Why are they struggling so much in this area? Well, now out of relation, I'm a struggle too. There's things like that have happened to me. I'm also gonna be going through the hard road of life instead of being like, oh wow, there can be an ease and a lightness and an enjoyment to things instead. So make sure you start to curate who you're around and whether they're reinforcing a coping lifestyle or reinforcing a thriving lifestyle. Now, perspective of the coping versus thriving is a major thing. What do you want for yourself? Are you someone who's willing to settle for a life of less? Are you someone who wants nothing but the finest? They're like, yo, I'm a goddess. I'm bad. I only deserve the best. I'm going to thrive. I want this life. I am me, living my one life, getting the most out of every moment, because tomorrow's never promised, and I want to be thriving every day. Or you're going to be like, wow, my goals are so far away. I know I'm a goddess. I should be entitled, but I'm not. I'm questioning. Oh no, my questioning led to more questioning. Oh no. Like, which side are you going to choose? What do you want for yourself? And align yourself with that focus, and really continuously, moment to moment, recognize that, I can thrive. I can thrive. Stack reference experiences of, okay, I'm thriving. I'm looking at this through thriving. I'm changing my perspective to thriving. Okay, I'm not coping, I'm thriving. And become that person. You have to want it for yourself. Are you going to choose to consistently look through life through the goggles of, I'm in reaction. Something happens, I fall into reaction. Something comes my way, fall into reaction. I need to cope now. I wasn't ready for that. I'm gonna find my way through. Or you're gonna be like, wow, okay, I could fall into those thought loops, fall into that judgment, that doubt, or I could choose to be more than that, be better than that, and really realize I am enough, I am confident, I'm a goddess, I'm bad. Who is to tell me who I am? This is my life's movie. I'm gonna be the hero of this movie who goes forth and crushes it and conquers. No question about it. It's only me on my path, winning and winning and winning and winning and stacking those wins consistently over and over and over again until you get to the point where it's your default. But you have to want it for yourself. You have to invest in it for yourself. You have to check your blind spots to be like, okay, well, where do I doubt myself? Where do I judge myself? Where have I left room for me to harbor, past beliefs, past identities that I've resonated with? Am I open to changing and evolving? Everything else is changing and evolving. My cells in my body are growing and dying and growing and splitting and dividing. And I'm not controlling it, but I can control how I view things. I can control what I want for myself. What version of me do I want to be? Do I want to be the me who settles for less, chooses to look at life through the skewed filters and goggles of coping? Or do I want to be the one who's like, nothing will stifle me. Get out of here. I'm on top. This is my path, my journey, and I'm crushing it every single step of the way. Feeding into myself that, you are the only thing that's holding yourself back from hitting that next level, that next tier where you're breaking out of that stagnation and really getting the fullness of everything you desire. Now, the present moment is an amazing place to come at your life's perspective, to really distinguish whether you're going to fall into coping or go into thriving. Presence. You. Just the way you are, just now. Take a deep breath in for 5 seconds. Hold the breath for 5 seconds. And then let it out for 5 seconds. Before doing it, think of something that you've been coping through, something that you've seemed to not be able to achieve, that you've been feeling like you're being held back and no progression. Don't think about it during the breathing, but when you do come out of the stillness, the presence, feel what you see as different. Not with the issue, but with yourself. And realize that, there's that distinguishment, that detachment that needs to be made, where, there's you on one side, and then the you of your thoughts and the social conditioning and stimulus that you're getting caught up in, that you're choosing to identify and resonate with above what you are, which is just yourself. And getting present to the moment and detaching yourself from those thought loops will give you a little bit more clarity in terms of where's the dividing line. Oh, this whole time I've been clinging to this, resonating with it for no reason, when if I were to be present, that I would be able to be like, oh wow, this is me, I am enough. This external stuff is something externally that is throwing me into coping. But if I choose to distance myself from it, then I realize, oh wow, I was just tripping this whole time. So we'll do the in 5, hold 5, out 5. So think of something that's been bothering you, that you've been clinging on, that you can't overcome, and then just take a breath. When you breathe out, just, me, this is me. Don't think about it. Just, me, this is some you time. Hopefully in that moment you're able to notice something different about the way you feel, what thoughts you're looping on that then stop, what you're experiencing through your 5 senses. Now, so much depth to what you can experience now if you focus more on being present and enjoying the process, as opposed to dwelling on these thought loops of, oh well, I'm coping because I haven't resolved this, that, the third. I need to find a temporary solution to continue my slight progression so I don't feel worse about myself. Instead, detaching yourself and realizing, oh, the only me that can exist is the me that's here now. I'm going to get present. I'm going to detach from this looping that's been holding me back and stifling, that I've been harboring. Just like you're wearing a piece of clothing, you're harboring, you're carrying it around with you. Oh, this is part of me and how I'm going about operating and viewing my day. But if you return to the present moment more frequently, build a better relationship with the present moment. Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, phenomenal resource for diving deeper into information about presence. But the more you get reference experiences, oh, the me that exists can be unstifled in the present moment. You start to detach from resonating with coping, and you start to shift into thriving. You're grounding yourself in that, oh, I am enough. Oh, I am confident. Oh, I can be entitled. Oh, the external situations or internal stimulus or external stimulus that I've been dealing with has been that. It's external or internal, but it's stimulus, and I've been reacting to the stimulus, looping on the stimulus, taking myself away from what is just me, the presence. Not to saying you need to ignore your problems and just, oh, I'm present, I'm one with the universe, but just realize that as your foundation, if you're coming from a place of presence, then it's far easier to thrive because you're not getting consistently thrown into reaction. When stimulus comes, you're present. You see it coming. You don't even need to put up a defensive firewall, but you just see it, you can recognize it, so that these triggers won't come back, and won't come back again, and then continuously feed into that false identity that you've resonated with for so long of, oh, I'm the one who copes. Instead, you're coming from a place of presence where you're like, wow, I can thrive now. I know it's me. Anything else is external. But me, as the foundation, as the grounding, can be unshakable. Because I'm operating from the present moment. Not dwelling on things of the future or things of the past, but really getting the richness out of everything that I can experience now. And we'll just do one more, in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, out for 5 seconds, and not even thinking about something else to try to detach from, or just recognize that you're you and then that thing is separate, but just really just stack another win of taking a present moment for yourself. And see what you notice that's different after this breath. Probably will be something completely different. But don't try to notice it, just enjoy being yourself. You should be enjoying being yourself. Enjoying being yourself is a huge part of it. Huge part of coping versus thriving. Do you enjoy being you? Do you enjoy every single slight second moment of what you're experiencing? Or are you like, oh, I'm stuck in my head. I'm stuck in my head. I can't get out. I'm stuck in my head. Or are you out of your head? Get out of your head. It's a huge part of it. Not just enjoying being yourself, but getting out of your head so you can really enjoy the fullness of being yourself. Stop resonating with the thoughts, the loops that are throwing you into reaction, which are then making you cope. Switch to thriving. Do you enjoy being you? How is your relationship with yourself? Not just the relationship with the present moment, but do you enjoy being you? Are you coping through things, viewing things with a filter of coping, because by default you're not enjoying yourself? So you're not enjoying being yourself. So then in turn, there's like 2 tiers. I did that so last time. There's 2 tiers. There's you enjoying yourself, then there's you enjoying going through whatever adversity you're going through. Enjoying going through adversity? Well, if you're getting present to the moment, you're enjoying being yourself as much as possible, and the adversity is external. So we'll frame it that way. So if you haven't passed the place of I enjoy being myself, then you're coping here before you even get to the external, which then you'd fall into coping because you're falling into coping of not enjoying being yourself. So and this isn't even like core confidence. Oh, I am enough. I'm entitled. This is. Do I enjoy being me? Is my default state I'm flawless? I'm a baddie. I don't question. I know my worth. I'm on top of the world. I enjoy being me. I'm comfortable being me. Are you coping through your relationship with yourself? Are you falling into doubt, to judgment? Now we can mention the core confidence. Are you not confident? Do you not feel like you're enough? Are you internally, your thoughts, your dialogue with yourself, your image, your view of yourself is not enough? Then you're coping here. You're like coping. I'm coping. I'm coping too much. Oh no, I'm coping. I'm coping. Sometimes I feel good, so now I'm not coping, and then I hit here, but my default back here is I cope. So when I hit here, I start coping because the external stimulus. Now, I get thrown back into the first tier of coping with judging myself and not feeling like I'm enough. Do you enjoy being yourself? And if not, then that's a great place to look at, for a place to start. Stop coping being yourself. You are enough. Invest in that core confidence. Invest in that self-love of building reference experiences where you show yourself that love. Where you're not dwelling, you're living, enjoying being you. And I just gotta say, if you're not having fun being yourself and you're coping, you played yourself. Because you set yourself up with your own prison. You did it. You did it. You played yourself. Why are you going to not enjoy being yourself? Because you're the only one who exists through the life of you. So you set yourself up in the prison of, I'm not going to enjoy myself. I'm not enjoying myself. Yeah. No, I'm still not enjoying myself. You couldn't trick me into enjoying myself. And I'm sure you've seen people who dwell, who don't enjoy themselves. You want to be like that? If you're aware that you have blind spots where you do dwell, you do have coping within your relationship with yourself, address it. Dive deep. Figure out what the trauma is. Where are you getting triggered? Where are those thought loops playing in the back of your head? May not even be the forefront of where you're focused, but where are you harboring misbeliefs in what you identify with? Resonate with, identify as, resonate as. And find that and uproot it so that internally you're not coping, so that when it comes to the external, you're definitely not coping. Because your default should be that you love yourself. You enjoy being yourself. It's your life. Harbor a beautiful, untarnished relationship with yourself. Shower yourself with self-love. Really invest in that belief that you are enough, that you have that core confidence, that you put yourself on the pedestal. Everything else is beneath you. Everything else is below you. You are first. You should enjoy being yourself. You should love being yourself. Now, if you've resolved that, you'll always be in thriving. There'll be nothing that'll hold you back because you'll have that grounding. You'll have taken off those goggles of coping. While I view myself this way. Listen to that. I view myself this way. You're choosing to view yourself this way. Oh, but I feel like you're choosing to feel this certain way. No. Don't let those choosing to view or choosing to feel skew negative. Because that'll trigger you. Coping. Instead, stay positive track. Don't fall, don't slip back into any of that. It's you and your choice. Be the one who's thriving. I am enough. I view myself through thriving. I love myself. I feel good being me. Anytime something comes up that's questionable, I know that it's something external or internal thoughts that are triggering me to make me feel like, I gotta be in resistance. I gotta be in resistance. No. No. Go away. Trigger. Saw it. Deleted. Firewall. Strong. You're a baddie. You should never settle for less. So why settle for less of a positive relationship with yourself in any time that you're triggered? Why aren't you catching that? Whoa. I almost fell down a thought loop that would have sent me into negativity and not enjoying being myself. Instead, I want to be thriving. Coming from the place that I love myself. I'm on top of the world. This is my pedestal. Look at me on my pedestal. I'm up here. Woo! Everything else is below me. Nothing else can shake me because I have that foundation, the grounded foundation. Unshakable. I'm on my pedestal. I know my worth. Keep that thriving mentality internally when you're with yourself. Thriving. Not even an issue now. So then when you hit the external, okay, dive into it. Whoa, now I can thrive even more because I love myself. Harbor that good relationship with myself. I'll build myself up to that epic level. Now you don't want to fall to traps of things that externally seem like solutions but are coping. Not only is coping versus thriving like an internal thing that you need to build yourself up to be able to operate from a place where you're not skewing your perspective, but it's also an external thing. What are habits, actions? What are systems that you rely on in order to navigate the way you live your life that puts you into coping, that puts you into thriving? Now, coping can come in many, many traps. If you have any practices, any habits, any things that you engage in that don't solve problems, but more so cover them with like a blanket of, oh, everything will be okay. Everything will be all right. Just trust, have faith. It'll be good. Just woo, blanket it. Think about it later. Push it off to the side. Someone else will deal with it. It'll get handled eventually. You know, put it on the back of the to-do list. Or maybe it's something you've done for yourself. Just practices, habits, like not necessarily procrastination, more so, how would I describe this? I guess, yeah, I kind of described it well. Oh yeah, you know, just trust. It'll get handled. We'll deal with it. Oh, someone else will deal with it. Oh, destiny. Yeah, you'll get there, do it, whatever. But things that don't actually change anything in the moment are coping. Why are you gonna fall into practices of coping? Oh yeah, let me just stuff all this over here. It's kind of heavy, I'm sorry. Okay, whew, that joint was heavy. I was coping through a lot, so I had to just trust and have faith that something will happen eventually, and I'll just put it all over there. Or you can get into habits of thriving. All right, what is the actual issue? What's something I can do? Thriving, abundance, finding solutions, coping, stuffing, dismissing, putting off, unresolved, temporary solutions. What's something I can do that would be thriving and not any of that coping? Well, I could take action. That's amazing. Let me take action. Let me address what it is. Take action. Boom. Building habits like that actually work towards resolution. Coping is you may put a temporary fix on something. Like, oh wow, I need to move my hand upward. Oh wow. The hand didn't stay there. Okay. Well, I have faith my hand will get lifted up somehow. I'll just wait until something happens. It'll work. I'll cope. But for now, I'll sit here like this, uncomfortable, just raising my hand. Something will come along and solve this for me. But for now, I'll just do this. Or you could be like, oh, I need to raise my hand. What can I do? Well, I could find a support thing to put under my elbow. Pretend that this hand is a tall piece of wood. Yes, I've put now the wood under my elbow. Yes, the imaginary wood is still there. I've taken action from a place of thriving. I've now put a solution there. I'm not coping like, oh, well, what'll I do? I'm in scarcity. Oh, I just need to hold it up by myself because I'm coping. Or you could be like, all right, thriving. I took action. I found something temporary. It works, but it works. I'm thriving now. I don't have to exert and pull away from myself. Weird analogy. But you get what I mean. Taking action, being resourceful, finding the abundance, whereas opposed to stuffing and putting away and just trusting something will happen and temporarily like, okay, there's the thing. It's over there. How do we resolve it? Blanket. All right, cool. No. Oh, it's leaking. It's leaking. Put a piece of duct tape over it. Yeah, we're coping. Oh, it's still leaking? Another piece of duct tape. Okay. More duct tape? Okay, cool. Okay, the leak has stopped. I trust that something will happen. I'm going to just put a blanket over it. Yeah, we'll come back to that later. Or could take the thriving approach. All right, cool, it's leaking. Well, let me get a bucket. Put a bucket there. All right. So get action, at least, I'm doing something. Duct tape? We could try duct tape. Okay, duct tape does not work very well. Isn't there that other thing? Like some plaster, some water resistant thing? That's like, yeah, let's just try this water resistant rubber solution thing. Paint it over top of it. Okay, Wow, all right, that kind of worked. Oh, it's actually working. Oh, I think I'm thriving. I'm being resourceful. What do we do with this bucket of water? I don't know. Let's dump it over here. All right, cool. It's evaporating. Don't worry about it. All right, but yeah, we were thriving. We came up with solutions. We resolved the issue. We didn't stuff it. We took action, and taking action, out of all these weird analogies, what is the main root? You know, take action to resolve things. You don't want to cope and put it off and dismiss it. You want to make sure that what practices you're falling into are taking action. Oh, well, I don't feel good about myself. Oh, wow. Oh, well, I can cope. I can like drown my sorrows in Netflix. Yeah, I can eat something that tastes good. I can go scroll on social media. Yeah, I still don't feel good about myself, but I'm coping. You know, I'm temporarily feeling better about myself. Or you could be into thriving. Well, wow, what is this practice of binging content going to do for me? Nothing. All right, I need to thrive. Well, yeah, let's thrive. What's the root cause? Why is this external stimulus triggering me? Why is this past practice of coping not working out for me? Well, let me not just trust that one day something will make me feel better and actually do something maybe. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take action. Every time I'm triggered by this, I'm not gonna be triggered by it again, because I'm gonna recognize I'm getting triggered. I'm gonna know that I'm enough. All right. Hey, I feel better about myself already. I stacked a win, stacked a reference experience. This practice of taking action kind of really works. Oh no, something that's completely out of my control, that's an external factor that I have to deal with is happening. Now, I'm not going to fall into looking at coping, but looking through my vision perspective is coping, but I gotta do something about this thing. All right, we'll put the blanket on it again. I trust something will solve this for me. It's still there, but I don't see it, so I kind of did something right. Okay. Oh no. I more trust and faith in this thing that will resolve my problems. Yes, I'll get to it later. More blankets. Cover it. It's getting bigger. Cover it. It's still there. Or let's take some action. Oh, whoa, there's this external thing. I'm not going to fall into the view of coping, but my practices need to be action-based so that I'm not falling into temporary action solutions. I need a more permanent solution. All right? Whoa, I'm taking action. I did something. Did it work? Nope, it's still there. It's still just as big. Oh, it's actually getting bigger. It's not even just as big. All right, let me take some more action. Okay, I saw a little bit of solution. Oh, back to where it was before. At least I'm thriving, though. I took action. Oh, wait. This keeps happening. Through my reference experiences, I now know to take more action, but to do this instead. Trial and error showed me the way. All right, bet. Kind of solved it a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Well, at least I made progress. I learned, stacked some wins from reference experiences, and taking action. I'm thriving. I'm not coping. I'm actually doing something about it. I found a root cause now. Oh, look. Wow. I just detached this. Part of the problem is now solved. Should I put the blanket over it and just trust that something will help me out? No. I'm going to do more, because taking action and finding the root cause works. I can thrive more when I do that. Yeah, this action is thriving. There's abundance in this. There's resourcefulness. There's no scarcity. There's no coping. Yeah. And make sure that, the practices, the habits that you build are from a place of taking action, where you're thriving. You're not getting stuck up thinking and dwelling, oh, well, I could do this, I could do that. Will something else resolve this for me? How can I temporarily just kind of do enough to get by? Instead, you're like, wow, okay, it's going to happen. Life happens. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to change it? How am I going to do this? Me taking action, doing this. Because that's what it comes down to. You're going to put it off till later? You're going to trust something that's going to resolve itself, or something else is going to resolve it for you? No. Take action. Get out of that coping, just pushing things off. Take that action. Get into thriving. Realize that, you're in control. You don't need to be in reaction to it and then cope. picking up habits of coping, navigating things with less engagement. You should be fully engaged, fully present, coming from a place of thriving, that abundance. And then when you tackle these issues with practices that are of the thriving nature, we thrive, we just do it, we take action, right action, massive action, we're going to make it through this, versus coping being like, well, we can kind of put a little bit of effort to it, we could put all our effort to it, but an effort that just dismisses and puts it away kind of solves the problem, but kind of leaves some of it open to being solved by other things. Yeah, no, we'll leave it the way it is. Yeah, we'll come back to it. No, always go thriving, and seek out those habits, those practices, those systems that you've relied on for so long that just push you through more coping, that don't actually get to the root cause, don't get to the root cause, don't get you to take action, and leave things unresolved. Make sure that you're getting resolution, you're taking massive action, and always come from a place of thriving, not coping. But make sure that those practices that you're going about doing things, engaging, trying to resolve things, are of the nature of, thriving and not coping. All in all, it's up to you. How you view your world. Are you present? Are you enough? Are you grounded? Are you coming from a place of abundance where you're thriving? There's ease and lightness about how you go about things? Or are you falling into those triggers? That scarcity, those limiting beliefs, that doubt, that judgment, those thought loops, those triggers that are keeping you from getting the fullness out of your life's experience. Instead of viewing life through the goggles of coping, taking action that's only coping through things, switch to abundance and thriving, where there's an ease and lightness, where you're getting that fullness out of your life's experience, where you're taking massive action. You want to be about it. You want to be the best you can be. If you know that it's possible, now it's up to you to take action, to shift not only your thoughts and your perspective, but how you actually take action. Make everything you do from a place of thriving. Move into abundance. Come out of scarcity. There's no need to cope. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just an intro to coping versus thriving. It can go so deep in so many different areas. But I hope that this has set you up for a path of least resistance, path of abundance, of ease, of lightness, of loving, being yourself every step of the way along the process of you going about your life as someone who thrives, someone who chooses to thrive, someone who takes themselves away from any coping. Only exists in the reality where you're thriving all day, every day, nonstop. Because it's up to you. Out of everything you could possibly do, out of all that exists, you got this. Thrive. So I have all faith in you. You got this. Never cope again. You are now someone who thrives.